Hi everybody, welcome back to Grounded Haven. It is an extremely cold day here today. We woke up and it was in the single digits, and I think the high today is gonna still be like in the low 20s. So we are kind of just hunkering down inside for the day. Today's actually Christmas Eve as well, so we're just enjoying some time together and trying to stay warm in this cold weather. I know it's been cold for a lot of people all over, so hope you're all staying warm. And I thought today I would take the opportunity to make some tomato sauce. So I've had a gallon of tomatoes in the freezer for a while and I want to get those out and turn it into tomato sauce. They were frozen from back in the summer when I had a lot of tomatoes coming in and I didn't really want to make sauce back then. I think at the time like our AC was broken, and to make tomato sauce you really have to simmer it on the stove for like 2 to 3 hours, and I just didn't want to produce that much heat in the house. And today's going to be a great day for it. It's really nice to freeze your tomatoes for the fall or winter, because now that it's really cold, it's actually going to be really nice having something on the stove, kind of like warming up the house and making it really nice and cozy. So it's going to be a great thing to have going on today while we just relax and do other things. And then later on we'll probably go and check in on the chickens to make sure that they have fresh water, because their water will probably freeze. So that's kind of what we're doing, kind of like a chill day, and I thought I'd take you along as I make the tomato sauce and whatever else we get up to. These are the tomatoes that I pulled out of the freezer the day before. Since they were completely frozen, they definitely needed some time to defrost. So I just placed them into a bowl and put them in the refrigerator so that they could thaw a little bit before the next day when I planned to make the sauce. I have a mix of red tomatoes here. Some are paste or Roma type tomatoes and some are just larger tomatoes, and I use both kinds to make sauce. Even though the larger tomatoes can be a little bit more watery, I just reduce it down a little bit more. And the only thing I did with them before I froze them is back in the summer when they were ripe, I took the cores out of them and I did slice them at the bottom in case I wanted to peel them, but I'm not going to be doing that today. I've pulled out some homegrown shallots and garlic that I'm going to be putting into the sauce. I am really happy with the shallots that I grew this year. I found that they have lasted a lot longer than any of the onion varieties that I've grown, and it's the end of December now. I probably harvested these in July or August and they're still looking really great. Meanwhile, a lot of my onions have gone soft, so I've been trying to use them up as quickly as possible, but these are still looking great. You can see that the inside maybe is starting to look a little bit green, as if it's going to start growing from the center, but all the shallots are still really firm, so I'm really happy with these. And the variety I grew was called Zebrune Shallot. And I'm going to finely chop these for the sauce. Next I have a few cloves of homegrown garlic, and you can see that these are starting to grow and sprout a little bit, which is not really surprising because I believe that this is some of the hardneck garlic that we grow, and hardneck garlic does have a shorter shelf life, but I'm actually pretty impressed with how well they're doing, considering a lot of people say that hardneck garlic only stores for a few months, and I think I harvested this garlic back in June or July, so for being in storage for about 6 months, I think this is still pretty good, and they're definitely still usable, so I've still been using those up. In a large pot, I've added a few tablespoons of olive oil, and then I'm going to be adding some red pepper flakes. These are red pepper flakes that I made with the cayenne peppers that we grew this year that I've dried and I've just crushed into pieces. Then I'm adding my chopped shallots and garlic, and I'm going to let those sweat in the oil for a little bit and just infuse the oil with all of those wonderful aromas. After a few minutes, it is time to add the tomatoes to this, and it is smelling really delicious. Here's a look at what the tomatoes looks like the next day. They are still a little bit frozen in the centers, but you can see that they've definitely thawed out a good amount. Some of them are soft, and they've also released a lot of water, so I'm trying not to transfer any of that liquid into the pot because that's just gonna mean more time reducing on the stove to get a thick sauce. So I'm just using a slotted spoon to remove the tomatoes from the liquid. I didn't add any water to this, by the way. This is all just liquid that the tomatoes released themselves. You can see that I'm just putting the tomatoes in whole without chopping them, and I'm not taking the skins off either. This is the way I make tomato sauce. I'm pretty lazy about it because later on I'm just gonna go in with an immersion blender and blend everything together anyway. So I usually don't bother with any of that, but if you prefer to take the skins off, if you're working with previously frozen tomatoes, you can slip the skins off really easily. When I pulled the tomatoes out of the freezer, I also grabbed a bag of shredded zucchini that I froze this summer, and I have drained that off and I'm going to add that to my tomato sauce. This is just going to add some extra vegetables and bulk up the sauce a little bit, and it's a great way to use up the excess of zucchini that we had this summer. You could also add other vegetables to this if you would like. I know that some people like to add some diced or shredded eggplant or maybe some peppers, and that's a great way to use a lot of your homegrown vegetables. Lastly, I am seasoning with salt and pepper and then also some dried oregano. Unfortunately, since it's the winter, I don't have any fresh basil to add to this, so that's the one downfall of making tomato sauce in the winter. But even without the basil, this is going to make a really great tomato sauce. Since everything in the pot is still really cold right now, this is going to take a little bit to come up to a simmer, and then it's going to have to reduce for quite a bit for us to get a thick tomato sauce. But it doesn't really need much hands-on time, so it can just be simmering away in the background. So now that I have everything set in the pot, that's gonna pretty much be on the stove for 2 hours. I just put everything in whole, and then later on I'm going to blend it up with my immersion blender. But since that's gonna take a while, I think maybe it's time for us to go out and check on the chickens. Oh yeah, their ice is turning slushy. I wonder if they're cold. One of our hens started molting late, so she's like naked during the coldest part of the year. So sad. She's so small compared to the other hens. There's the molting one here. She must be freezing. She looks so small. Their water had a layer of ice on top. Yeah, maybe take that out if you can. Look how sad she looks.
It's actually just like underneath is dry.
Wow. It's like hollow.
Yeah.
But how did it make like a flat surface up top?
I don't know.
Look at the bubbles.
Where? Oh, I know, it's crazy.
Oh, be careful.
It's so loud.
Really thick.
It's crazy. Well, I want to take one of these and throw them on the pond.
Oh, but you broke it.
Well, I have more. Look at these. Why am I holding this? These are so cold though.
Be careful.
Slice my hand open on ice.
It's solid. It's pretty solid. Oh my gosh. Where did you? Oh, from the gorilla cart? Yeah, go for it. Go for it. Kind of. Yeah, just a small little hole. Now you have to get another one in the hole or like around it. Oh my gosh, you're going so far! Why is it so fun to shatter things and break things? That's probably like the best thing about living on a homestead. No, it didn't do anything.
Over there.
Oh my gosh. That is crazy. I thought they were mushrooms. What in the world? That's wild. I can't even like capture it on camera.
It isn't very clear.
How does this happen? This is crazy. Oh my gosh. This is what happens when I turn around for 5 seconds. A brick? What are you doing? Okay. It like suspended for a second. Destroy it. Whoa. Looks like plastic.
It looks like 3D printed or something.
Yeah. Wow, they're so hard still. Whoa.
Look at the yarrow.
Oh my goodness.
It's so light. You have to hold them.
My hands are freezing.
They're not cold.
What?
They're like not even cold.
What is this witchcraft?
I don't know. Right?
I mean, they're cold, but like they are
look-
super light.
They look extruded.
It looks like when you go to like Luray Caverns.
Yeah.
It looks like the stalagmites and stalactites.
Stalagmites grow from the bottom. Because one day
And-
they might reach the top.
Really?
Stalactites are on top because they hold on tight.
Oh, yeah. Well, it looks like those. That's so cool. Junie. Hi. What are you saying?
She said Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Junie. All right, check it out. All my letters.
Son of a
How many bonus points is that?
I think it's extra 50 or
I
something.
think it's 50.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many base points it is, but it's a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's only 20, but then I get 50, so 70
Well, it's
points.
a double word too.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
I
you
already
got
did
that.
it, yeah.
Okay.
Now that the tomato sauce is done, it's time to pull the rest of our dinner together. I'm going to be making some garlic bread to go along with our pasta. So I have a few tablespoons of butter here, and I'm using a garlic press to process a few cloves of garlic. I like to use a garlic press for this because it gets the garlic super fine and it also extracts a lot of the garlic juices, so you get a lot of the flavor without biting into a big chunk of garlic. Then I microwave the butter for about 15 seconds just to soften it up so that I'm able to spread it onto my bread. And I also like to add some garlic powder to this mixture just to add some more garlic flavor. I feel like fresh garlic and garlic powder have different kinds of garlic flavor, so I like to add them both for double the garlic. Then I'm going to spread my butter garlic mixture onto my slices of bread, and then I will also top this off with some dried oregano as well as salt and pepper. While I'm cooking the pasta, I'll have this bake at 350 degrees for about 6 minutes. The pasta I'm going to be using today is some pasta that I got in my Wildgrain box. This is a tonarelli, which is pretty much like a square cut spaghetti. And this is going to be perfect to eat with our homemade tomato sauce. This pasta comes to you frozen, and I find that it tastes so much like homemade fresh pasta. The texture turns out absolutely wonderful when you cook it. I have really loved the pasta products that I've received from Wildgrain. If you want to check them out, I'll leave a link down below, and that link will get you $10 off your first box. To finish off our pasta bowls, I top these off with some grated Parmesan cheese. And that's it for these spaghetti bowls. Pretty simple, but really delicious, using simple, high quality, and homegrown ingredients. And it gives you just a little bit of a taste of summer in the middle of winter, so we can't complain about that. I also had roasted up some of our homegrown cauliflower, along with the garlic bread that I made earlier. That was our cozy little meal and how we spent some of this very cold Christmas Eve day. I think this was probably the coldest day that we had all year, and we really enjoyed it, just spending most of it inside and playing some games with each other, hanging out with the cats. So I hope you guys all had some great holidays and that you've been able to stay warm, and I will see you again next time in the first video of 2023.